Today we're going to start the restoration of our FZR muffler, one of about 6 mufflers we have for this bike. It needs a total rebuild, a repack, and several other things that I'm going to try to include on this video. I'm not going to be able to finish the video on this. This will be a 2-video set, because what happened is in the middle of doing this I realized I had to order parts, and they're on order right now. Today we won't be able to ride. We have family obligations for most of the day, but what's going to happen is I'll have about an hour's gap this morning, and I wanted to get some work done. I wanted to start. One of the projects for the FZR was to get one of the mufflers that I've had on it in the past, and that muffler has since been loaned to Turbo Steve. He's used it, maybe not used it, I don't even know. He returned it to me, and I want to rebuild it. I want to show on this video how to do a total rebuild, take it apart, repack it. But the problem is, I don't have enough packing. So I had to order some packing. Well, I did. I ordered some springs, and I forget what else I ordered. Maybe a new car. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to separate the video into 2 parts. Today I'll use this hour and get the parts all prepped up, cleaned up, get it disassembled. And the next time when we get the packing and I get the other parts that I ordered, we'll be able to assemble it, put it on a bike, and maybe get a test ride. We'll see. Maybe it'll be 3 parts. I don't know. You never know. Everything this time of year is unpredictable. But one thing is always predictable. We love our FZR. Now, one thing nice about our FZR, we've had we have two separate paint jobs on it. It's been a Ferrari. It's been a Kenny Roberts type Yamaha. And one of the things that's nice about it is it's a very easy bike to work on in terms of the exhaust system. So we've had, I think, 4 or 5 different mufflers on it with different results, and this'll be the final one, I hope, for a while. Then we have got a pile of mufflers back there that we have gone through, used. Some are too quiet, some the bike doesn't run exactly the way it should. Well, and the Norton muffler, it runs the best with the Norton muffler, but it's just loud for the areas where we're riding. So what I'm hoping to get is to rebuild the older muffler, make it a lot quieter, and I know already that the bike runs fine with that older muffler because we've had it on the bike already. But I love to change parts on the bike that I can change them, and if I don't like them, I can put them right back. But the goal we have always, right now at this point in time and space, is to quiet the bikes down and still have a nice sound. Not make them sound like sewing machines, but have a nice rumbly sound. So I'll gather up all my stuff here and get started working down a cell. I should be able to get a good chunk of this taken apart, and well, then we can move on to our next project. We have got a list for this winter a mile long, and that's why I'm anxious to get started, and that'll be a good place to start. So this, to make a little history, this is the muffler that came with the bike. It had some dents and some defects in it and whatever. And when it came, it had the correct head pipe, the correct muffler. I'm not sure if this is a YOSHIMURA or what, but the thing is, it ran fine with this. But it was a little bit loud. The packing, of course, after 20 years had already been blown out of it. So the objective today is, and a lot of people don't know how to do this, there's rivets here. We're going to drill or grind these rivets out, take it apart, clean it all up, polish it, that's the goal, clean and polish the ends. And then when our packing comes in, I have some, but I just don't have enough. That's the problem. And when that comes in, we'll make part 2 of it, assemble it, and get it installed on the bike. Now, before I actually get started, I wanted to check what I do have in stock. And see, I do have, this is some of the old packing from making the R1 mufflers. But as I look at, it's not enough. And I don't want to be down to the bottom of the ninth here. Now, there was a clamp that fit the FZR perfectly. Steve couldn't find it, and it's not a big deal. I made 2 of these. These are parts I made for other bikes. And I do have, see, you could still use, if you're in a pinch, you could always just go buy fiberglass cloth. Not as good as the mat, though, so we're going to order the mat and just be done with it. And what else do I have in here? Oh, yeah, I do have some extra. This is the old mat. This is the old stuff. And by the way, maybe we'll even use this. This is the old stuff. What this is, it's not the mat that's made from fiberglass, but what this is from when I took the original R1 mufflers apart. This is what came out of the original ones, And so I saved it. Yeah, maybe I can use that. Since we only have one muffler to use it on, I can use this in conjunction with the new stuff. See, this is why I never throw stuff away. That and because I'm cheap. And from making, oh, here we go. Look at this. I didn't even know I had this. This is some of the old packing from the old muffler. But anyway, we want to do this. I'm hoping what's going to happen, and I can make a good demo out of doing it. It'll be a good demo. Here's the thing. A lot of people that have a sport bike, they love it loud. They can't wait to make it even louder. They hope the packing blows out. But the problem is, once you get a little older and you have to ride where, well, you get a ticket for $200, then you want to go back to the old way of where it has that nice, smooth, rumbly sound of a sport bike. And that's what we're going to hopefully have at the end of this whole project. That's what we're going to wind up with. And we know the bike does run well with this muffler, so that's as opposed to when you buy a new muffler and you buy one off the internet and this is a different diameter, this is a different diameter, the tuning length, it's always something. And Luciano has had this happen to him too, where you make yourself crazy with a muffler and then you go put a different muffler on a bike, or in the worst of all, the stock muffler, and it runs perfect. So for anybody who doesn't know, go back a long ways, when we bought this bike was in totally different than it was. I'm not sure what the guy really used it for in terms of riding, but this muffler came on a bike. Of course, he didn't give me the stock muffler. The stock exhaust for this bike with the valve and everything on it is a priceless thing. Nobody can, if you could find one, they'd want too much money for it. The other thing, this is period correct. This is what looks like it's right on the bike. That's a nice little bonus. And by the way, this is a YOSHIMURA. It's written on the back can. Well, shame on me. I can't read Japanese or Chinese or whatever it is. But anyway, first thing is to get out a grinder or a drill. I think I could just drill these out. We'll see if they pop right out. And we're going to replace it with all new rivets. And I'm going to get as many of these dents out as I possibly can. And there's one big one in the back. See, this bike has had a rough service life. It's been a track bike for 3 years. The guy that owned it before me, God knows what he did to it in terms of wife abuse and everything. But that's the challenge of restoring an old part, to take something that needs, it's screaming to be rebuilt, and when we're done, make it as good as we can, and then get it back on a bike and see if we like the sound. And if we do, mission accomplished. If we don't, we'll look for another muffler. Now usually a step drill running at a slow speed will drill that pretty reasonable, get it out of there without chewing everything up. I guess we're going to find out. There you go. Rivet removed. And the last part is just to drill the rest of the rivet out with an ordinary drill. Now, because this part is really old, we're going to just let some WD-40 sit on it for a while. Go have a cup of coffee. This will always help. I don't want to force this. I don't want to make this harder than it has to be. A little WD-40 on there. Before I go to any more extreme lengths, like putting it in my teeth and chewing it. Of course, the idea is not to damage the part any more than we have to. And there's our part. What I want to make, it is a piece of music wire, but you could of course use coat hanger wire or any kind. I want to make a little hook that is going to allow me to pull that out. The stuff that's in there is pretty well used, I guess is the right word. Let's see how much of it we can get out this way. Okay, so what they did is they put it in like a corkscrew. I guess it doesn't matter how you get it out. Little by little it's going to come out. See, for people that don't understand what this is like a gun silencer. And this is building up the carbon, the residue and everything. And eventually it becomes more solid and less able to absorb the noise. you can see what happened to that one end. And, well, anyway, we're going to have to make a hook. Maybe no, not a longer hook, but get in here and little by little dig it out. It's just like doing dental work. Dig it all out. And it just keeps coming out. There's just no end to it. You know what it is like? It's like getting one of the stickers off the bike. Sometimes they come off in one piece, and sometimes they come off in a million pieces. But eventually, you keep at it, and eventually you get it all. Now, to get the stuff at the very end of the pipe, I really needed to put it in a vise and dig in there. I wanted to get all fresh stuff in there, no matter what. And little by little, it's just like doing dental work here. Now, of course, one of the other ways to do this, if you really can't get to the very end, you can take the other end of the pipe apart. I wasn't looking to make this job any more labor intensive than it has to be. The hook worked pretty good. I got all the material out, but it's a dirty, filthy job. Now this was really, you just look at it, this is the stuff that came out of there. So, what a mess. Now I'm almost glad to take a break. We have to go over and we have some family stuff we have to take care of and some the usual stuff for the farm. But I'm glad I started early this morning and got that much done. Oh, I always feel better when that's in a dumpster. And this is what actually absorbs the sound. It's like a gun silencer, but you can see that material is really not nice and fluffy anymore. So we hope when we get the new packing, this is going to be like a whole brand new muffler and have that nice rumbly sound that we like. So we're going to head out, and at least we got something done this morning. This was a good way to fill in. See, I always love getting the dirtiest part of the job done first. And we want to go see our grandson and Buddy, of course, too. Buddy, are you happy to see us? Oh my God, are you happy to see us? Oh my God.
Hey, chill.
Are you happy when I come to see you?
Grandpa, I got a present for you.
Well, you got a present for me, okay. A new motorcycle? What do you got, a can of Brodak dope? What do we got? Oh, we got all that Halloween candy left over. You know what, I'll help you. I'll be a good grandpa and help you eat it today. Get the ladder, let's go get some. Before Grammy finds out we know where it is.
Don't worry, I already know where it is. There's all the packs.
I thought you were going to come over this morning and help me work on that muffler.
What?
I guess not. I guess not. There's your answer. What do you got, Kit Kats? Mm-hmm. I like Twix. Look at this, you separated it. You're like organized like I am. Candy, chips, and chocolate. You learned a lot from me.
And Kit Kat.
So we bought him this toy. This is his favorite toy. Give me that.
Hedgehog.
Go. Oh. What's for lunch, Miles? Let me take a wild guess. What's for lunch? Well, it's good to be home from all the errands and ready to get back to working on that muffler. Alright, so with the time left today, what I wanted to do is clean some of these parts up. These parts are, they're probably 30 years old or so. And that looks like the YOSHIMURA insignia there. So we'll take this over to the buffing wheel and see if we can clean it up. And the end cap is just a piece of aluminum. It polishes up relatively quickly and easily, and worked out great. Now, a little bit of Meguiar's polish. Meguiar's, its mother's, I don't know what that is. Doesn't really matter. We want to just clean these parts up. And what day comes when we get our packing, get this assembled, get it on the motorcycle and see what it sounds like. I'm excited already. Okay, that's one part down. Now the objective is we want to clean this up. That'll be the last part I think we're going to get done today. I want to see if I can get some of this old finish off here. I already drilled out the rivets because what I wanted to do is get the polishing wheel to get that nice and smooth. And cleaning this up should be a relatively straightforward job. I just used a little grinder with the soft wire brush just to get the old finish off. I'm not going to try to polish that part. I just want to get that flat black, I don't even know what, flat black paint off. Yeah, that got a lot of the old residue off of there. So now the next thing is I want to get some wet and dry paper, some 2000 grit, and clean out as many of the scratches on that as I can. Okay, this is 2000 grit, and this will be a little bit labor intensive. We want to sand out as many of the scratches and defects and everything as we can, and this just takes time, as anybody that's done this knows. And if you use rougher grit, it's going to take a lot longer over at the buffing wheel to get the scratches out. So this is just one of the things. It's a great idea to have some patience. That word patience is a big thing whenever you're doing any buffing, any polishing, anything like that. And every person I ever worked with, you want to do it in the 2 minutes. Well, sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and take your time with 2000 grit. Now, obviously, this is an old part. It's got a lot of little dents and dings in it and stuff, but we're going to just try to clean it up as much as we can, and it's probably going to be pretty labor intensive doing that. I just did a little quick test to see how this is going to buff up. It'll be fine. We'll get over to the buffing wheel, spend about a half an hour, and we'll clean this up as best we can. What I did, I broke this down into 3/3 just to make it easy. And this is the kind of thing, and I'm usually pretty good at this, so just be patient and just be patient. Here I got the first third buffed out. Now, by putting that in fast forward, I hope I'm not boring you to tears, but you just get some idea how much time it takes to bring the shine up. And even on old aluminum, this is probably 30-year-old aluminum, and boy, it's just a labor of love. That's all that is. Yeah, so preliminary cleanup went pretty well. I'm going to finish this off with some of that Mother's mag polish, and then we'll put these parts aside until we get our packing. We got a nice big jump on this little project. I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to be back on the FCR. And this usually gets the final little scratches out without making it too labor intensive here. We'll finalize it once it's on the bike. So I'd count this as a pretty useful day. We got a big jump on this polishing, getting this ready, and we're ready now. The only thing left on this whole project, that can be 2 days or a week or whatever. We're waiting for the delivery, that the stuff isn't in the pipeline. Anyway, so I hope you did enjoy the video, and of course we're going to pick this up as soon as we get our parts, finish it up, and the best part of all, we'll have that test day, get out on the FCR. So this is the beginning of the project that we're going to finish hopefully on the next video, but you never know. There's always an unpredictable part of restoring anything old. Even old furniture. When I moved into this house, we restored a lot of antique furniture. Always unpredictable. Now, we're going to continue it on part 2. There's always something you didn't think of at the very last minute. In this case, we want to do the packing. I want to wait patiently. I have brand new springs. The springs that were on there were rusty, and I have to make or buy another bracket. Now, I saw that I could order one online. I don't know if it's going to be the right one, and we'll find out. And if not, we'll make one up, and I'll show that on the video, of course. Now, with winter very quickly approaching, days are getting colder by the day, we're starting to lay out all the projects, and in the sequence we want to do them. One of the things we want to do is make a custom set of MT-09 wheels. But one of the most difficult things always is to prioritize the job so that we get the ones we really are excited about doing done first. I have some little paint work I want to do on the MT-09. I have several little projects. I'm still trying to figure out a way to get the radar detector mounted on a GS realistically and on the RD. There's still some little stuff on every bike. There's always some little part that needs to be polished or painted or repaired or maintained. And I love the evil twin part of this whole thing, because even just by changing a muffler, we make it more of an evil twin. It'll have a different sound. It'll run a little better, maybe. Who knows? That's the whole fun of having evil twins. So I hope you did enjoy the video, and thanks so much for watching. Hey, and maybe we'll even see you tomorrow.